Welcome everyone to the Fall Summit. Looks like we got a whole bunch of Comcast people in here, but there's people from other places as well. So I'm glad everyone made it. Should be a great couple of days. I'm Dave Newman. I'm the chair of Apache Traffic Control. If you didn't know, nice to meet you. If we haven't met, come say hi during one of the breaks or lunch or tonight. So a little bit of logistics and housekeeping. Facilities, bathrooms, if you haven't found them yet, go back to where the front door is, take a left. They'll be on the right-hand side. Or if you're daring, you can go out the door and then they'll be on the right side, but good luck getting back in. So I would say where the big TVs are, take a left, go down the hall, they'll be on your right-hand side. Coffee, tea, water, all that. It sounds like maybe the coffee machine in here is busted.
Yep.
If that's true, then you walk straight back. Right there, there's a coffee machine on your right. I don't know if that goes for hot water, but you know, everything's down there. We have some bottles of water here and back there. Otherwise, you'll figure it out. It's in one of those. Getting in and out of the suite. I don't really have an official policy on this. Do we gotta ring the doorbell or something? Is someone gonna be at the door every day, all day? I don't know. Let one of us find someone. If you turn around and point, you'll probably find a Comcast person, and they can help you get in and out. The schedule, I put the schedule up on the whiteboard in my great handwriting. You can also find it online. Everything s.apache.org/ATC Fall 2018. That should take you to the wiki page that has everything there. Videos, Trevor's going to be doing videos for some presentations. If you can't or don't want your video done, let Trevor know. I know there's a few people that just can't do that. So the rest of us, you know, videos will be there, and then after, we'll post them on the Traffic Control YouTube page. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Twitter, if you guys want to take some, hey, no talking on the phone. If you guys want to take pictures, whatever, tweet about it. It's at traffic CTRLCDN. Feel free to do that. I don't really care or don't. Lightning Talk sign up. We have a sign up over there on the board. We're going to try to get to some Lightning Talks tomorrow for sure. We'll see what time we get done today. I know we have one open slot, so if we bump everything up, maybe at the end.
Can you sign other people up for Lightning Talks as well?
Sure. Sign up other people. I put 10 slots up there. If we do 15 minutes each, that's more than 2 hours. That's more than we'll get to, I'm sure. So anyway, they're on the board. Sign up. I don't know that we'll do first come, first serve, but maybe we will. I don't know how I feel yet. Meals. So as you saw, breakfast was taken care of. So is lunch both days, breakfast and lunch both days. So you guys don't have to worry about that if you don't want to. And we'll have a reception tonight, 5:30 at the Cherry Cricket Ballpark. It's 2220 Blake Street, 20th and Blake. Find the Big Rocky Stadium. It's across the street from there. You know, we have that set up. So now's the time to say a big thank you to Trevor, Christine, and Marissa for helping us get everything set up. So big round of applause for them. We couldn't have done this without them. We also have a little bit of swag. If you're a presenter, you got one of these t-shirts. But we also have like real name brand koozies, which I've never really seen before, and stickers up at the front. Help yourself to those. There's plenty to go around. So grab a sticker, grab a koozie, and next time present and you'll get a t-shirt. Slack. I think almost everyone here is on Slack, but if you're not, go sign up. s.apache.org/ATC-Slack. We're at currently about 370 users. It's a good place to get support, ask questions, all of that. But decisions are still made via email list because of the Apache Way. But there's a TC meetup channel for summit information, coordination, etc. I know Steve was trying to coordinate dinner through there last night for those that were in town. Whatever, coordinating drinks, after parties, whatever we're doing. Just questions, TC Summit. Or TC Meetup and the, I think that's what it's called, in Slack?
Did I miss the Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do a Wi-Fi one. Good job.
Because some of us are not down there.
Yeah. I think there's Xfinity Guest. Should work for everyone.
1515 guest.
No, Xfinity_guest.
It was on Xfinity.Wi-Fi.
You must have
Oh,
Xfinity.
Xfinity guest.
Xfinity_guest, all caps. Sorry. I'll write that on the whiteboard when I get a chance. I didn't even think about it. Thank you, Young. So as with every summit, I like to start out with a little bit about what's gone on in the community since our last summit. So first of all, we became a TLP. So we're a top level Apache project. As I meant, that's exciting. We released Traffic Control 2.2. I think that was in June. 491 pull requests have been submitted. 553 of those were closed in one way or another, whether they were merged or closed, probably mostly merged. Over 1,400 commits to master by 36 unique contributors. On the issue side, 257 issues were opened, 112 of those were closed or resolved, so we still got some work to do there. Talk about that a little bit later. We've had 283 emails on the dev list. You guys can read that. 58 emails on users list, and we've added over 100 users to Slack since the last time we started. So that's all good. Things are still chugging along. I'm proud of that. We have some new committers. The first one is Rollin. Rollin works for Comcast. He's contributed many large features. Most recent are geolocation and geolocation client steering and flexible cache groups. He's pretty familiar with all of the traffic control components, and if you have questions on the mailing list or in Slack, it's a good chance that Rollin's going to be helping you out. So he's a great addition. He's Rollin at Apache.org, and he's not here this week because he got married. So he's on his honeymoon right now in Banff, Canada. So I don't know if this is the time of year for that. But. So congrats to Rollin. Dylan, also a new committer. I don't think he made it today. Dylan now works for Google. He helped a lot with the Perl to Golang migration. He kind of helped architect that whole thing. And he's very, very knowledgeable on Traffic Ops Golang API. I know he still hangs out in Slack. So if you ever get stuck or have questions around that, I think Dylan's still around to help. The 3.0 release is coming up. I think we have a release candidate out now. I think I have that in 2 slides. I should have put it here. So what's new in 3.0? Traffic Router has been upgraded to use Tomcat 8.5.x and is now its own service. So you now do systemctl, stop, start, restart Traffic Router instead of Tomcat. I know Jeff will be talking about this later this morning. Traffic control, we're dropping all support for CentOS less than 7. So if you're still running CentOS 6 servers, Steve, that's ATS, I guess.
Del Randall was working on it yesterday.
don't do that yet. Oops. So yeah, if you're less than 7, you might want to think about upgrading because we're not going to support less than 7. Java traffic monitor is removed from the code base, so Steve, you might want to think about moving to the Golang one.
Are you still on that?
It's still there. It probably still works. I don't think it'll work in 4.0, but it probably still works with 3.0. Traffic Ops UI. In 3.0, once you go install it and you pull up Traffic Ops, you're going to get a big banner that says this UI is going away. You probably don't want to use it. I know there's some new features that were put in Traffic Portal only and not in Traffic Ops. So we're starting to diverge there, and Traffic Portal should have everything that Traffic Ops has, with the exception of I think DNSSEC needed some work still. So you should be ready to move everything over to Traffic Portal. We've been using it internally, exclusively for a couple months now. So anything that you find that's not missing or you don't like, just put an issue in on it. I know you guys have your own. 3.0 was a big release. So what else is new? Backup edge cache configuration. So this was committed by Cisco. So basically it lets you, if your edge cache group is down for whatever reason, this lets you actually configure which one to fail over to instead of just letting Traffic Router pick the next closest one. It's a super handy feature. I know we use this.
We use it, yeah.
Some of our syndication partners. A bunch more of Golang. I was trying to go through the code and figure it out, but the diff was 3,000 lines. So I think there was 4 things in Golang in 2.2, and there's 400 things in Golang in 3.0. So most everything is over in Go now for the Traffic Ops API. Geolocation-based client steering. I mentioned that Rollin worked on this feature a lot. This lets Traffic Router, when you're doing client steering, Traffic Router will choose which delivery service to put first in the list based on geolocation. So if you're a client that's in Chicago, I don't know, Jeff, I'm stealing too much of your thunder, but if you're a client in Chicago and you have an origin in Chicago and an origin in Denver on a client steering delivery service, Traffic Router is going to give you the one in Chicago first because that's where your origin is. So we use this internally for some of the stuff we're doing. And if you want more details on that, Jeff or, I mean, I could wave my hands a lot, but Jeff probably knows a lot better. I don't know who else, maybe Jesse. Yeah. I don't know who else worked on that besides Roland. Tendency is now the default behavior in traffic ops. I think you should be able to install it and not really know that you're using tendency, but it is the default behavior. So if you're installing 3.0 and things go wonky, probably take a look at tendency. Everyone knows about tendency now?
I don't.
So traffic ops, without going too deep, maybe Jeremy's gonna have to give a overview, a lightning talk. Basically, traffic ops now has the idea of tenants. So you can have a root tenant by default, so everything will be a root tenant, and then you can configure multiple tenants if you want to, right? And so if you're a user that's not a root tenant user, but let's say you're an admin for the tenant, Sandman, you will only see Sandman's delivery services.
Yeah, okay.
Instead of, if you're root, you'll see everyone's.
Okay,
Otherwise you're just-
that's cool.
So that's kind of the high level there. Get out of here. I'm all off now. Sorry. You got it, Trevor?
It's not mirrored.
All right, well, this is how we're going to go.
Okay.
Cache group localization. I pulled this out of the release, out of the changelog. So the cache group API now supports an optional localization method. So for each cache group, you can choose if you want it to be like a deep CZF cache group or CZF only. And there's more in the changelog. I covered most of the high level things, but there's more in the changelog, or if you really want to know, you got to dig through the commits, unfortunately. So yeah, the 3.0 release is out. Yeah, there we go. So go vote. RC0 is out there, but it already got -1 because there's some regression bugs that we found in there, but RC1 should be coming soon. Derek's our release manager. So I think we need to get those 2 bugs fixed and backported, and then we'll have a RC1 out. But it's a big release, so we could really use a lot of help on testing that. And we're targeting a mid-November release on that, which is only a month away. It's kind of aggressive. Maybe end of the year is a little more realistic. So 3.0, go vote once it's out. GitHub, I want to take a few minutes to talk about GitHub. There was a PR template introduced not too long ago, at least since our last release. If you've done a pull request since then, you've seen it and you've had to use it. But it's meant to make things better. It's not meant to be a stick to hit people with. So, don't be intimidated by it, and don't think that we're doing it because, we're trying to be assholes or something. It just makes our lives easier. We have, 40 something or 60 something pull requests open right now, and makes life a lot easier, especially when you're context switching to go like merge a PR and you haven't been around that code. There's a lot of open issues and some are very old. So I'd like us, if we could, to spend some time on going through and cleaning those up. I know in particular, I found 2 last week when I found another bug, but then I found 2 related to it that were fixed and I closed before I opened my new one. So I'm not sure how many are out there that are like that, but I'm sure there's a lot of open issues that we can be closing.
What time do we stop tomorrow? Maybe we should put an hour on bug scrub.
Yeah, bug scrub maybe tomorrow. If we have some time, it's a pretty busy schedule, but
There he is.
Mark's leaving
Mark's gonna
though.
be out
Mark won't be
tomorrow.
here tomorrow.
But somebody else can play more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least.
I think we should do something like if you fix a bug during the summit, you get a t-shirt.
At the very
There you
least, we
go.
can
Submit a
look at,
PR with a bug that's fixed, and Christine will get you a
you
t-shirt.
can look at the issues that you yourself have
Yeah.
opened.
Yeah.
And
Let's
that would narrow down the
maybe
list.
do an hour tomorrow and then see if we can. 10 less is 10 less.
Yeah, we'll see where we get. So yeah, a lot of open issues, probably a lot of old ones. It was hard to tell because we moved from Jira to GitHub, and Eric did that big transition for us. So it's really hard to go back and see how old some of them are without digging into Jira, which I didn't want to do. But I'm sure there's bugs out there that are super old and just not even valid anymore. So myself included, we should take some time to go look through that. We also have lots of open pull requests. If you have one open, don't just keep firing and forgetting those things. It drives me nuts. Go through and find someone to help you get those merged. And if someone's telling you or asking you to make it better, then don't take that as a diss. Take that as we want the code base to be better. So, you know, tests help us out. Documentation helps us out. We're not asking for that stuff to be assholes. We really need that stuff in our code. Same with the changelog. I know there's been some conversation around liking it or not. It's there for now. So get it updated. I was surprised how little it was updated for 3.0. It seemed like we did a good job for some features and not for others. But we can get rid of this if we just do better about squashing commits and getting a good commit message. So I know there have been some, like sometimes we have like a documentation pull request with 135 commits in it. And that's, you know, that could be squashed down to one probably with some explanation of what you did. So we're not paying anyone on commits.
There was,
And you don't get any more open source credit for
There was
commits.
discussion at the ITS summit about maybe making squash and merge the only option there. And we could do that as well. It's a GitHub setting, right?
Yeah.
Well, you could just pull the pull request. You could have 100 commits in a pull request as long as your pull request
Yeah.
has a good message.
I still think we should squash and commit.
I think we should squash and commit to.
Squash our commits down and put a good message on
Maybe
it.
put that up for a vote.
We should look at that. We should look at that. I think it makes lives, and then we can get rid of the changelog because the changelog is unwieldy.
If you feel like you have multiple commits that are really something, then maybe there should be multiple PRs
Yeah.
as well. Right? It makes it easier to review.
So,
So I think we should put that on the vote.
yeah, you don't get any more merit for having 100 commits. It's the same. So, or 0 commits for that matter. All right. I want to talk a little bit about Apache Con North America 2018. A few of us went there a couple weeks ago now, September 24th to 27th. I think it's 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was a pretty small Apache Con by Apache Con standards. Usually they're 500 or more. This one was like 350. It was pretty small. It was the first one that the ASF put together themselves without help of the Linux Foundation. So honestly, you could tell. Like, there's some hiccups to work out. I think they're going to get better. Oh, I didn't add anything to this about that. I would say the biggest takeaways. There was a Tomcat track and a CloudStack track. CloudStack was there in force. There's a whole bunch of CloudStack people there, which is Apache's OpenStack. Anyway, it's not something at Comcast we've looked at. I don't know if anybody else has, but they had a lot of people there. And Tomcat, as they do with other Apache cons I've been at, had a whole track. So I think they had 3 or 4 days of talks. There were also some fintech talks. Kafka was there, Beam was there, Spark was there.
What's fintech?
Financial tech, finance type stuff. Like there was one about
Spreadsheet?
alternatives to bank accounts. And, yeah. Banking type stuff.
Bitcoin discussions.
Yeah, stock type stuff. It was kind of different for Apache, I thought. Like, at least I felt that way. It was like new to Apache. Kafka, Beam, Spark, of course, are big projects, so there was some representation there. There was also some big company representation, which was crazy. IBM and Microsoft were there in force. I mean, Comcast were a big company, but I think we only had about half a dozen of us there. But IBM and Microsoft for sure. They had booths. They had people stand up. Any other big company I was missing? Seemed like that whole vendor area was just like big companies, but Red Hat, yeah. But anyway, as if anyone's ever been to an Apache Con, community over code, I mean, there's always like the talks were okay. There was nothing that I was like dying to see. I did enjoy some of the talks I went to. There were some good talks by the CloudStack people on testing and the frustrations they have with that, which I think were super relatable. But the Apache Way stuff always seeps through, and community over code always seeps through. And if there's one thing Apache does, the Apache cons do, it gets you excited about that stuff again and makes you realize, why we chose Apache. There were 3 traffic control talks, which I'll get into next, but I do want to say, and I didn't put it on the slide because I forgot, Apache Con NA 2019 is already planned. I don't know that it's officially announced, but they announced it at Apache Con 2018, and it's in September, and it's in Vegas, and they're trying to make it big. So I'm going to try to see if maybe the ATS community want to do something there next September. I don't know, I'm looking at you, Jan, but maybe try to get one of these summits maybe while they're in Vegas next year. For the fall at least. But anyway, keep that in the back of your mind if you're thinking about next year. September 2019 Vegas. I think they're doing a big 20th anniversary, 20th birthday celebration. Yeah, I could tell you more about that later. So I mentioned at Apache Con we had 3 talks, and I'm doing them in order of when the talks were. The first one was Jeff. Jeff was talking about routing CDN traffic at scale using Apache Tomcat. I think he's going to do a smaller version of that talk today, later this morning. It was Tuesday afternoon on the Tomcat track. Talked about 8.x, our improvements by using OpenSSL for TLS, some of the custom connectors and stuff. I guess you'll see it all later. Talked about some of the gotchas we experienced in production. These in particular, I think, sparked a lot of good conversation. Our custom connectors and the gotchas we experienced in production sparked some good conversation with the Tomcat community. And I think that those guys are really looking to help out if they could and start some more collaboration. Jeff did a great job of really saying thank you to the Tomcat community for helping us get, at least pushing us in the direction of getting off 6 and over to 8.5. So they were really receptive. The presentations are up. I put a link to them for all 3 of the talks at Apache Con. They're at this link, s.apache.org/ATC-ACNA-2018. The second one was me. I went Wednesday morning. I had one of the 4 keynotes. There's 4 keynotes that morning. Mine was, maybe there's 3 and I don't know. I think there was 4 and I was 3rd. So I went through the history of traffic control, why we started the IP CDN at Comcast, why we open sourced it, why we chose Apache. It's not a long talk. It's on YouTube. The slides are out there too if you guys are interested. I think it's like 19 minutes on YouTube if you want to spend some time watching me yammer on about that. Then Dan and Dwayne did a talk Thursday afternoon, which they're going to do right after I get done here, about ATC up and running. So it was kind of an overview of all the traffic control components, but what was cool is while Dwayne was talking about all the traffic control components, Dan was actually building a CDN in the background using Docker Compose. So I'm not going to steal their thunder. I do want to say that Docker code, all that code from that presentation is now in master. So if you want to go try to build your own ATC up and running, it's there. And Dan will be happy to help you. So the last thing I have, and I have 6 minutes, is a refresher on the Apache Way. Coming off of Apache Con, like I said earlier, that stuff really remembers why you chose Apache, and it's important to talk about this at our summits too, because I think everyone in our community needs to know this. So these are the tenets of the Apache Way. There's the ApacheWay.com. If you go find, most of the text will be probably the same. And they're the same tenets. The first one is a charity. We are providing software for public good. That's what we're doing here. Pragmatic. This is kind of a skip over one, but Apache uses broadly permissive licenses. Openness. All project discussions that lead to project decisions take place in public. So I mentioned Slack earlier. That is publicly available, but if we make decisions, they have to happen on the message board. You'll see me come through. I know I do it internally a lot, on Slack sometimes too, like, hey, we need to move this to the mailing list if we're going to try to make a decision here. Meritocracy, so those that have proven they can do, get to do more. This doesn't mean that you submit pull requests or you have the most commits or anything like that. I mean, there's a million ways to contribute to an open source project, and any of those get you merit, and as you gain merit, you'll become closer to a committer. Or a PMC member on the project. And I think as the chair of the project, I realized we need to do a better job of recognizing that and be a little more liberal with our committerships. Consensus, getting good enough consensus is better than voting. Let me say that again. Getting good enough consensus is better than voting. I think a lot of the times we want to go down this, we have to vote on every single thing. Getting good enough consensus is good enough. So we need to be better about that. I'm serious. So I'll be coming in and on the mailing list when we're going down these rabbit holes and be like, good enough consensus is good enough. We don't need every single opinion. We don't need every single +1. And the same goes for community over code. The health of the community is more important than the quality of the code. I think sometimes we lose focus of this. And so we need to realize that the community is what makes this great. If we just cared about the code, we would have never open sourced this thing, and we would just be, sitting in dark rooms writing code all day. So if you don't believe me, go to an Apache Con and talk to other people that run open source projects, or go to an ASF summit and ask them what they feel about community over code. It's important. So again, I'll be trying to help out here where I can. So that's really it. That's all I have for the opening. So I think Dan and Dwayne, you're up.